up. Bradley has jumped off to an 8-0 lead. The battle for the Missouri Valley Conference lead. And we have a 20-second timeout with Bradley jumping to this early lead. The Alcoa starting lineups for Illinois State. Jamar Smiley, their guard out front. Maurice Trotter, their big scorer. Dan Muller and Rico Hill in the corners. And Kenny Wright at the center spot. For Bradley, Billy Wright, an equally adept point guard with the assist. Anthony Parker in the corners, Dwayne Funches, Deion Jackson, and Bio Akinkula, the center, the 6'8 sophomore. The head coaches, Kevin Stallings, out of Purdue in his third year for Illinois State. Bradley, headed by Jim Molinari, fifth year here at Bradley. For Molinari with a record of 79 and 63. Illinois State with the basketball.
This game is already uncharacteristic of the first meetings between these teams. The Redbirds against Bradley earlier in January, there was only 5 points separating these teams the entire game. The Redbirds won that game by 5.
Muller has the ball stripped by Anthony Parker, but we have a whistle. A foul against Parker. Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois. Bradley has been the best home team in the conference, and Illinois State has been the best road team in the conference. And there's a look at the 41-year-old Jim Molinari. 7th year overall as a Division I head coach. 5th year here at Bradley.
Bradley returns a veteran team. They have 5 starters, and their top 9 scorers are back from last year's NIT team that went to the 3rd round and lost to Canisius.
There's a jumper by Muller, not going to go. The ball loose, it'll go out of bounds, belonging to Illinois State.
Along with a bath for us, we got a little water over here.
Muller will inbound. Illinois State won the first match of the year between these two teams, 77-72.
Illinois State is a very patient team on the offensive end.
And they're finally on the board. Rico Hill with a jump shot.
Kevin Stallings worked as an assistant for 5 years under Roy Williams and also an assistant at Purdue University for 6 years.
Funches underneath, rolls the rim and out, but a whistle there. Ed Hightower calling the foul.
Trying to get the ball inside every opportunity. Bradley wants to get the ball down on the block and try to get that high percentage shot. As a team, they only shoot about 45-46% from the field, but they feel like if they're going to win this game, they have to utilize the inside strength.
The foul called on Muller, and Funches goes to the line, 65% on the year, and the first one will not drop for him. Funches, a senior out of Chicago Orr, averaging just under 11.5 points a game. Misses both shots. And the ball down to Watkins. Leroy Watkins in there at center for Illinois State. Smiley across the top of the key. This is Maurice Trotter, and it's stolen. Picked away by Parker. Parker starts back for Bradley.
Maurice Trotter is such an exciting player. He has the ability to play outside or inside.
Funches grabbed the rebound. But a whistle on the battle for that rebound, and we'll walk it the other way. The foul against Funches for reaching over. He was reaching over Watkins.
Funches has got to come out and get a little bit of a rest.
Akinkule into the game. He's the 6'8 sophomore.
Akinkule is a very aggressive player, good shot blocker, but he's fouled out of 3 games this year.
Watkins misses the shot. The tip by Jackson, and Akinkule came down with the ball to right into the front court. Anthony Parker across to right. Akinkule trying to back his way in, and Watkins got up there to block it, but a whistle as well. And the foul coming. So Akinkule will go to the free throw line.
That was a good job of spacing by the Braves that time to move the ball around the perimeter, make the extra pass, and Akinkule catches it on the block, and he's 6'8", but he's only about 205 pounds. That's why he wasn't able to power the ball up to the basket.
Kenny Wright into the game, replacing Watkins. Akinkule, a 68% free throw shooter, misses this one. So Bradley off to a slow start at the line. They have the best free throw shooting percentage in the Missouri Valley at 72%. Dawkins Kool-Aid drops this one in. It's a 9-2 ball game with 15:57 to play in the first half. Bradley out in front. Dwayne stats from Peoria. Illinois State down 9-2 to the home team. Bradley Braves here. First place on the line in the Missouri Valley Conference. Bradley and Illinois State coming in with identical records of 13-3. They each have one conference game left. After this one, they're well ahead of Tulsa and Southwest Missouri State.
Well, a lot of people think that Tulsa was going to be the team to beat this season, coming off of a Sweet 16 NCAA berth last year, but unfortunately, Bradley has come out very strong this season. Their overall record is 18-6. They have a great chance of going to the NCAA tournament.
Maurice Trotter has a pass knocked away. Another turnover. That's 4 Illinois State turnovers to the basket. It's going to count, and a whistle and a foul. Count the basket for Anthony Parker. Charged the foul to Smiley.
This is an excellent transition break. When you get the ball on the break, you want to try to find your scorer. A guy who can get to the front of the rim. Anthony Parker is the man. He's been that all season, averaging 19 points a game.
Well, Bradley jumps to an early 9-point lead. And they send Parker averaging over 19 points, leading the team. This one in. It's a 10-point spread for Bradley.
Braves are doing a good job defensively, and it's also going to be important for them to control their defensive boards.
Muller from long range, not going to go, and the rebound, Jackson skying for that one. Right front court. Cross to Parker. This one low for Jackson, baseline, little hook, and a whistle there.
Offensive foul. Deion Jackson actually uses his left arm to try to gain that advantage down on the block.
That's going to be the third team foul against Bradley. 15:15 to play. First half. Smiley, a 5'11 sophomore, handling the point guard spot for Illinois State. Antonio Cooper into the game. Rico Hill and Muller. Hill, the only basket so far for Illinois State.
Good defense on the perimeter.
Smiley for 3. It will not go. The ball is loose, and it comes out to Cooper inside the lane, and he will not get it to drop. Back up right, and it's going to roll off. Klein had it. He hits the deck. And the ball is loose. But Klein hit the deck hard.
That was just great hustle by both teams trying to get it off of Illinois State's offensive board. This is good hustle. Get the ball up on the board. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Great hustle to stay after it. Could not get it to go in the basket. That's just excellent hustle by both teams. Kenny Wright felt like he was in, but it rolled off. Ball goes down to Bradley.
Foul charge to Hill. 4 team fouls against Illinois State. Billy Wright, the 5'10 senior. 3-year letterman here. He's seniors on this Bradley team in their final home game during the regular season.
Senior day always brings a lot of emotion, not only for the students, but for the players as well.
Parker's 3 is not going to go, and Hill is there to claim the rebound. Smiley. He's gone to the bucket, and we have a foul there against Bradley. Going to be charged to Chad Klein.
The foul is called on the floor. He was not in the act of shooting. This is an excellent job to turn that corner and get the ball up on the glass. Jamar Smiley is one of the quickest guards in the entire Missouri Valley Conference, and he averages almost 7 assists a game.
Trotter back in from Muller. Funchess returns to the game for Bradley. A little better than 14 minutes to play in the half. Kerry Burrell replaces Billy Wright. Burrell at 6'3", a junior out of Chicago Simeon.
Burrell is called by his teammates the defensive stopper on this team.
Ball taken away by Burrell, but a foul against Parker. And they think they're giving the foul to Parker. It should be on Burrell. And Jim Molinari is off the bench saying, you've got the wrong guy.
I agree with that.
It's not Parker, it's Burrell.
Yep. Parker comes in. You see his hand right there, his left hand, and that's where the foul is called. But Burrell is the one who reaches in, but they're giving it to Parker.
Now Smiley. Here's a jumper by Cooper on the way. Not going to go. Burrell with a rebound. Gary Burrell. Aaron Zobrist. Zobrist, an offensive threat outside. Here's Burrell. He puts it up. It's going to be long, and the ball down to Smiley.
See, a little emotion was riding on that shot. That's one of the problems players have. They come in so high that they'll shoot the ball either extremely short or extremely long.
Smiley trying to spin his way along the baseline, and Zobrist jumped in to block him and foul him. Aaron Zobrist charged with his first personal of the game. Fouls are mounting up. Bradley now with 16 fouls. Jackson and Wright to return for Bradley. Ben Coupette gets set to report into the game. He's going to replace Hawken Cooley.
Boy, Jim Molinari is being very versatile with his lineup. He's already gone 9-10 players deep into his lineup, trying to find the right combination so he can keep this momentum.
Out of a Smiley, and the ball's knocked away by Billy Wright, who comes into the steal.
Excellent defense once again.
Front court, Zobrist. Still a 10-point spread. Bradley out to a 12-2 lead. Funches just inside the circle.
9 seconds on the shot clock.
And a 3-second call. This one coming against the 6'11 junior Ben Coupette.
Coupette was trying to move for position but wasn't able to establish it outside the paint well enough to negate that call.
Dan Muller back into the game. Illinois State continues to play without Steve Hansel. They've committed 6 turnovers. Bradley just 1. Bradley has been very good in taking care of the basketball most of the year, particularly recently.
Sure have. The last 5 games, turning it over less than 9 times a game, and you have to do that to be competitive. On the season, they're just under 13 a game.
Smiley finds Muller, who puts it off the glass and in. Dan Muller, the second leading scorer for Illinois State, into the scorebook.
Much better job of execution and spacing the floor, coming up with an easy seam inside for Muller.
Billy Wright looking for Jackson low. Dribbles out to the corner. A jumper on the way by Funch is going to be long, and the rebound belongs to Illinois State. Cooper down with a rebound. Smiley. Muller looking inside here. Wright trying to go to the basket, and a whistle on his way.
I like this transition style that Illinois State wants to try to run. They want to get the ball up and obviously get into their offensive set either for the initial break or the secondary break before Bradley can get back there.
Coupette charged with the foul, and the bonus situation applies now for Illinois State. Coupette leaves, and Chad Klein returns. And that's the line for Illinois State. And the bonus in effect.
You mentioned the fouls already. Bradley has had 14 different players foul out of games this season. They're very aggressive on the defensive end, and sometimes they come up with those fouls that forces Jim Molinari to change the lineup.
Henry Wright could not take advantage of the 1-and-1. Bradley back in possession of the basketball. There's a turnaround jumper on the way for Deion Jackson on the feed by Wright, and Jackson has a pair. Illinois State back. Trotter trying to go to the baseline, and another turnover. 14-4 the score with 11:58 to play in the first half. Bradley leading.
Try to utilize their inside strength. They shoot the ball well from the perimeter, but if they can get the ball into Funches' hand, also into Deion Jackson, they have a chance to get those percentages up, which will open up that perimeter game 37% behind the arc.
Jackson with 6 points, 6 of the 14 for the home team, Bradley University Braves. Zobrist coming off the give, and that will not go. The rebound down to Kenny Wright. Smiley. Muller right there with him, Funches. Along the baseline, Wright, and he walked with the basketball. Another turnover. That's 8 turnovers here already charged to Illinois State.
Well, Illinois State is not having success in the half court, and that's why it's going to be very important for them to play better defense, come up with steals, come up with defensive rebounds, find Jamar Smiley so they can rush the ball up the court and try to score in transition.
Zobrist out of the game, and Anthony Parker back for Bradley. Wright handling the ball. Parker flashes through and will not get it to drop. Maurice Trotter comes away with a rebound. Smiley sideline right down to the baseline, trying to go around Parker, and a foul coming here against Parker.
That's going to take Anthony Parker out of the game with 3 fouls in this first half with over 10 minutes to go.
And that's why Jim Molinari was so adamant on the foul they gave to Parker instead of Burrell earlier.
Well, this is another transition opportunity. This is what the Redbirds have to have. They have to find Smiley, let him operate one-on-one, and create some chances either for himself or his teammates.
So 3 fouls with 11:10 left to play in the first half for Parker. Smiley's at the line and hits this one. He's a 70% free throw shooter. There's Parker, the leading scorer for Bradley. And Smiley has another shot coming.
Smiley came off the bench most of last season behind David Kaysen, and he was an excellent player. He averaged 3 assists a game, and this year he's leading the conference from Missouri Valley with 6.7 a game.
Zobrist calls for time against that backcourt pressure. He was double-teamed and trapped along the baseline. A 20-second timeout for Bradley to get out of that spot.
Well, Bradley has to come back and find out exactly what they need to do to correct the situation. They've missed a couple of shots because Illinois State has come up on them a little bit more. They've now settled down, and now they're playing better defense and trying to get back in this game. And Molinari wants to keep control of this game early. Right now, he does not want Illinois State to get any momentum.
It's a 14-6 contest with this 20-second timeout. Bradley will do the inbounding in the backcourt.
Full court pressure by Illinois State.
Wright handling the ball against Smiley. Knocks it off the punches. Zobrist and Motors out there with him. They swing the perimeter. There's a jumper on the way by Jackson, will not go down. And a rebound for Leroy Watkins.
It was a good look at the basket that time for Bradley. They could not get inside rebounding position.
And another turnover. Illinois State continues to shoot itself in the foot. A pass low intended for Wright, but thrown away.
Illinois State on the season averages just under 18 turnovers a game, and they have to do a better job of taking care of that ball if they expect to have a chance to win this game.
With the basketball for Bradley. It's Chad Klein popping out from the high post. Bunches. Right, Zobrist, he's a three-point threat, could not find the shot there, and off to Wright.
Still plenty of time on the clock.
Wright puts it up, and it will not drop. The rebound pulled away by Kenny Wright. Smiley inside, a jumper from about 12. Will not go down, and Jackson is up there to clear the board for Bradley.
Jackson with that bandage on his head. He received an elbow in the game Wednesday night against Evansville.
Still has some stitches above the eye. Klein and Zobrist. Right, as the shot counted for 2.
Good patience on the offensive end. Continue to set down screens. If you establish the inside, the outside will open up for you.
Trotter on the way, and it will not drop, but there's Kenny Wright. Wright on the rebound, stuffed it through to make it 16-8.
Jim Molinari was jumping up and down. He wanted offensive basket interference, but that was a great follow.
Line waiting for Wright, who pops off the circle again. Looking low. Jackson, and the ball deflected. Kenny Wright deflected it into the front court. Smiley, and he misses it, but right there to finish the job is Wright. He started it on one end and finished it on the other.
That was great hustle playing the passing lanes by Jamar Smiley.
And a timeout on the court with 8:56 to play in the half. 16-10, Bradley leading.
Well, how about some good defense? This is excellent playing the passing lane, coming up with the loose ball. Jamar Smiley's going to push the ball up the floor, but Kenny Wright, once again, following this play, coming up with the putback. He leads Illinois State with over 52 offensive rebounds this season.
Joey Wright for Bradley. The Burrell. Coupette has a shot rejected by Leroy Watkins. So Coupette just back into the game, has this one batted away. He gives away 4 inches, Watkins, in that matchup.
Oh, that was just excellent timing to be able to go up and block that shot, and he leads Illinois State with 27 blocks on the season. Great timing.
Coupette takes the inbound off the baseline. Right, pushes the ball to Burrell. Right.
Matchup zone by Illinois State. Someone needs to get to the free throw line for Bradley. The shot clock is down to 5.
Here's Burrell. Outside the 3-point line. Now a shot on the way is going to be short. Did not hit the rim, and the ball will go to Illinois State.
Now that's all it takes. It takes a couple of defensive sequences. You come up with a steal, you come up with some defensive rebounds, but you score a basket off of those possessions, and it gives your team some momentum. Illinois State now has momentum on their side.
Right. Look at the ball. Watkins. Hartnell into the game out of the corner. He will pop, and that's good for 3. Big bucket for the 6-foot freshman.
What an excellent touch he has from the outside. He has struggled with his outside shot this year, but if you leave him open, he has a great touch when he sets his feet.
Akinkule misses a 15-footer. Muller with a rebound. Look who's open on the other end of the court. It's Wright who lays it up and in. It's a 1-point game. Illinois State has come back to make it 16-15.
Excellent job by Dan Muller. Once he got the rebound, he looks up court, and nobody's there but his teammate, Kenny Wright.
Bradley, after the quick start, finding the lead down to only 1. Wright trying to shovel the ball away is fouled, stopping the clock with 7:21 to play. Returns the foul to Kyle Cartwell, who just seconds ago hit that big 3-pointer. Zobra's Klein and punches will return to the game.
This is great rebounding on the defensive end. You got to come up with the possession first. But if you come up with the possession, it gives you a chance to look ahead. You always want to try to find that point guard, but if you don't have that, try to get a layup in transition.
Rico Hill returns, giving Kenny Wright a breather, who has played so well, and helping Illinois State to battle its way back. Right out front for Bradley. Over, popping to the corner. Rogers there with him. Fine. Battle underneath, punches. And Watkins, shot will not go. Ryan rebounding, and they reset the shot clock.
That's what Bradley has to have more of, offensive rebounding. They did it when the game started the first 3 or 4 minutes. They've gotten away from it because Illinois State has become a lot more aggressive.
Off to right, and we have a whistle that's right.
Oh, I thought a walk occurred first.
Well, I think we saw Sanchez and Hightower eyeballing each other there to figure out whose call will stand.
There's no question. Ed Hightower is going to get the seniority on this call. The foul was called before the walk.
16 fouls against Illinois State, so Bradley will go into the bonus next time around. Klein, Wright with a jumper for 2. It will not go down. The ball is loose, and Muller comes away with it for Illinois State. And swing the ball to the right side, Trotter. Now Hill along the baseline, and we have an offensive foul coming here. Klein took the charge.
This turns out to be another turnover for Illinois State. Trying to get the ball down on the block. Rico Hill really had nowhere to go on the baseline side. He should have taken an extra dribble and brought the ball back out. Good defense.
Bradley playing without their leading scorer at the moment. Anthony Parker picking up his 3rd foul with 11:10 left in the first half. We're down to 6:15 to go in the half. Punches to Jackson. Jackson turning in the corner.
Illinois State's leading scorer, Maurice Trotter, has been awfully quiet also.
Wright trying to go to the basket, and as he attempts to drive, We have another whistle. This one is charged to Cartmel.
Watch the screen coming off the top. There's a couple of good screens being set, but you want to try to get to that basket as quickly as you can, and Billy Wright does an excellent job of turning the corner.
Kenny Wright returns to the game, replacing Hill. And at the line, Billy Wright.
Billy Wright's a very unusual individual in my mind. He plays about 32 minutes a game, and this guy only takes 4 shots a game, but he's second in the conference in assists at just about 5.5 a game, and I think he has to become more of an offensive threat if he wants his team to not only succeed today in their final regular season game, but if they get a chance to go to the tournament.
Smiley returned to the game for Illinois State, and Wright converts this one. He came in hitting 62% from the line. A 2-point lead for Bradley. Muller drops it off. Kenny Wright. And Smiley. Muller out of the corner for 3. It will not go. But Kenny Wright is there. Puts it off the glass, and that will tie the game. So Wright back into the game, and he gets the bucket to tie it.
Great athletic ability by Kenny Wright. He's a young man who originally signed with Miami of Ohio. Went to junior college and made his way here to Illinois State.
Zobrist misses the 3. Watkins with a rebound. Now it's Kenny Wright inside, and he scores again. Wright has almost single-handedly brought Illinois State back, and they have grabbed a 2-point lead.
He's done just that by his aggressive play and running the floor. He's got great hands around the basket.
Jackson with a jumper, and it will go. The game is tied. Deion Jackson. That's his first bucket in a while.
Illinois State's become so aggressive with their defense. All it takes is a couple of ball fakes.
Muller, baseline. It's not going to go on a whistle.
Offense.
It will go the other way again. Charge that one to Muller. Now Rob Gibbons reports into the game, replacing Leroy Watkins. Gibbons, a 6'10" sophomore. And it's going to be Klein going to the line. So he's taken a couple charges in this game in the first half.
You have to give your body up sometime. That's what coaches will tell you, and they want you to stand in there. But Chad's got a bruised knee, and it's awfully tough to make that decision. Do I stay? Do I back out? He's going to the line. An excellent free throw shooter, about 88%.
And this one will not go for him.
Jinxed him already.
It's a law of nature. Smiley handling the basketball for the Redbirds. The game tied. Gibbons popping out front. Now Muller looking for the shot. In and out. Trotter back up and in. Maurice Trotter with a pair. Redbirds leading the Braves 21-19.
Well, Trotter needed that basket for his confidence against Tulsa. 1 for 15 from the field.
Here's Jackson starting to move. Off to Billy Wright. Zobrist looking for that three-pointer, but can't find it open. Wright starting his way in. Back out front. Zobrist is there to save it. A pass to Wright along the right side. They're down to 10 on the shot clock. Wright at the line. On the right side, Klein trying to go baseline. Knocked away from behind. It was Kenny Wright who knocked it away. Trotter, he will jump it, and it will not go down. Rolls the rim and out. And a whistle and a foul coming here. This one, they had Wright and Klein, and Wright will be charged with the foul.
Boy, Kenny Wright has been doing everything. See him come up with that stick, tip away at the very end of that play, and keep the ball in the possession of the Redbirds, and all he wants to do is try to make himself active, and he's done a great job out there. He only plays a little over 20 minutes a game, but when he's on the floor, he's made some good things happen.
Zobrist down, Farrell back in for Bradley, and Klein goes to the line. He misses the first one. He has another one coming here. Illinois State with 10 team fouls.
He must have put a jinx on him. I mean, this guy's only missed a couple of free throws all season.
He puts this one in to make it a 21-20 contest with 3:48 left to play in the half. Illinois State leading.
Along with UMass being 25-1.
Gibbons at the line from 15. It will not go down. The rebound for Deion Jackson. Jackson off to Billy Wright. 3:20 to play.
Bradley needs to find a shot here. They need to get a good shot, not necessarily from the perimeter, but get the ball inside. If it's not there, move without the ball. Somebody needs to slice to the basket.
Burrell cuts. Cooley finds him, and it's good.
That's what you have to have. If you have good spacing out there, execute your offense, make good hard cuts, you come up with easy looks like that.
22-21. Smiley. This is Muller. Smiley on the right side. Trotter away from Burrell to the glass. Not going to go, but a whistle on the way.
You going to count it? Nope. Ed Hightower says no.
And a two-shot foul coming here. Charge to Dwayne Funchess.
Well, this is Maurice Trotter at his best. He's a player who likes to slash. Uses his left hand to put the ball up on the glass and likes to get to that free throw line. This guy is an excellent outside shooter. He's made 105 career three-point shots in his college career.
Watkins in, Gibbons out for Illinois State. Klein will return for Bradley. And Maurice Trotter is at the line for two. Trotter 77% for the year. And sink this one. He had 27 points in the victory for Illinois State over Bradley earlier this year in that 77-72 contest.
6'4". He was in high school. He was a center. Did an excellent job of jumping for his team, but out of Lawrence, Kansas, surprised that KU let him get out of there.
23-22. He gives Illinois State a 1-point edge. Billy Wright, and Burrell, Klein, Akinkule, and Jackson on the floor for Bradley. Jackson. Wright, and there's a ball picked away, but Wright gets it right back from Muller. Out of the corner, a jumper for Wright, builds it for three. Billy Wright, 8 out of 32 from three-point range this year, hits a big one there.
Bradley was having some problems with that matchup zone by Illinois State, but they found a little penetration and the dish for the open shot.
Now Smiley answers with a jumper along the baseline for two to tie it at 25.
That's a tough shot by Jamar Smiley. He was actually behind the basket with two defenders on him.
Chad Klein, Burrell, the junior. That's Jackson. Backs out. Akinkule, he's going to take the jumper and hits. Well, Akinkule, the 6'8" sophomore with a pair. 27-25.
That was much better spacing by Bradley to be able to find a seam. If you move the ball around the perimeter against the zone, you can come up with those chances.
Jackson picks it away to Burrell. Akinkule, and he puts it off the glass and could not finish it. Trotter there to pick it away. Smiley. Watkins. Now Smiley. At the line and back. Starts to dart in, and he walked with a basketball. A travel. So another Illinois State turnover.
One of Jamar Smiley's problems when he's got the ball in his hands, he wants to make things happen so fast. We mentioned his assist numbers, just about 7 a game, but he also turns it over about 4 times a game.
Billy Wright handling the basketball. Bradley only 4 turnovers. That's about right for the way they've been playing recently. 11 for Illinois State. Jackson. Line right now. Billy Wright. There's a jumper by Jackson. Good. To Deion Jackson. Jackson hitting to make it a 4-point game. He's in double figures.
That was an excellent decision by Jackson. He was double teamed down on the block, kept his dribble and dribbled out of the double team, gave it up and moved to the open spot.
Illinois State wanting the final shot of the half. 12 seconds left. Maurice Trotter against Burrell. Now a 15-foot jumper's good. Count it. They have 4 seconds left. It's a 2-point game here. Wright will heave it from the backcourt. It's on the way and high off the backboard. The First half is over with the score. Bradley 29 and Illinois State 27. A 2-point game through the first 20 minutes. A 2-point game at the half. Derek, 29-27. Bradley leading. Things could be a lot worse for Illinois State if it had not been for Kenny Wright.
Well, Dwayne, the biggest problem was Illinois State got down by 10 points early in the game, and Kevin Stallings had to find an answer. He went to the bench. He went to Kenny Wright. Kenny responded very well, playing 15 minutes. He did it on both ends of the floor. He's coming up with 4 offensive rebounds in that first half. He also scored 10 points, but he ran the floor. That's what made the opportunities there for him. Excellent job on both ends. Next, you're going to see him on a defensive sequence. He can't get the ball, but he swipes it away. Comes up with another possession. But Deion Jackson made a couple of baskets right toward the end of that first half. He had 10 points in the first half. He has to start looking for his offense a little bit more.
So Wright and Jackson each in double figures with 10. The halftime stats, Bradley 43% from the floor, just 38% for Illinois State. Bradley, the best free throw shooting team in the league, only 4 of 10. The rebounding department belongs to Illinois State, 23-14, but they've attempted to overcome 11 turnovers, just 4 for Bradley through the first half. And Illinois State, Derek, all year long, the Redbirds have been a second half team.
They certainly have, and what they do is they score about 12 more points the second half than they do the first half, but the last 15 games they're scoring 15 points more the second half than they do the first.
Anthony Parker takes the first shot of the second half and will not get it to go down. Muller on the rebound, and a whistle the other way as Smiley tried to move his way through the lane, and he will be assessed with a foul. Now Sanchez and Hightower will get together, and that's going to be the call.
It's called on Smiley. It sure is. Out of control, trying to get inside. Smiley does a great job of penetrating. Quick handle, always trying to get inside and create something. He leaves his feet, gets caught up in the air with nowhere to go.
And it was Klein who took the charge again for Bradley. That's the third time in this game. Now they go low, punches with a little jumper. Will not go down, and Trotter rebounds. Smiley. Muller out of the corner. Top of the key, Watkins. The point guard, Smiley.
Wayne Funches is one of those players that Jim Molinari needs to be productive. He started off his freshman year with a lot of credentials out of Chicago.
Rico Hill misses the shot. Here's Parker. It will not go down. Jackson rebounding along the baseline, and it's knocked out of bounds, belonging to Bradley. Well, Parker back in there has missed a couple shots, but boy, did they miss him when he picked up his third foul with 11:10 to go in the first half.
That was huge, and Parker's going to have to get in the flow, and he's going to have to do it, I think, on the defensive end first. Don't necessarily come down and try to force something on offense. Get it defensively, get it in transition, come up with some rebounds, and maybe even crash the offensive board.
Chad Klein sent the inbound along the baseline for Bradley. Bradley leading by 2 at the half, looking for the first bucket here in the second half. Klein goes long for Parker out front. Billy Wright guarding in. Back to Parker on the left side. Parker, because of the foul problem, held to only 3 first half points. Jackson jumps it and hits it. He has 12.
Deion Jackson is stepping up into the leadership role that Bradley is going to have him in. Last year he had a subpar year.
Muller shot, not good, but Trotter's there. That will not go down, and it's Deion Jackson with a rebound. Right. A pass intended for Funches, but knocked away and intercepted. Now Smiley back.
Jim Molinari says, why? Why would you try to throw that ball with a defender standing right there?
Muller outside the three-point range. Now Smiley. Smiley just inside the circle. Here's a jumper on the way. And count it for 2. Smiley with a pair. 31-29. Bradley leading.
Good decision by Jamar Smiley to take that shot. He was right in rhythm facing the basket. No fancy herky-jerky movement. Catch and shoot.
Right, Parker, Klein, Jackson, and Funches, the 5 on the floor for Bradley. Illinois State down by a pair. Jackson jumps it again. Counted for a pair. 14 points for Deion Jackson.
Well, we talked about last year he struggled a little bit, and that was after his freshman and sophomore year. He was all Missouri Valley Conference.
Crowder, Watkins, Muller down the hill, spinning over Funches. Good. Funches all over him, and Hill makes it a 2-point game again.
Hill's a wide body, takes up an awful lot of space in there. In the last 2 games, he's shot the ball very well, over 15 points a game.
Here's Parker.
5 seconds.
Line. They work it to right. Here's Parker. 3 is good. Parker in the first game of the year between these two teams with 3 of 13 with 12 points. Hits a big 3 there to make it 36-31.
That was important for Anthony Parker to get his confidence back. Run up and down the floor a couple of times. Get in the flow of the game before you start looking for that offense.
He'll let it knocked away by Jackson. Billy Wright comes out of there with a basketball in heavy traffic to the left corner of the key. Now to Klein, a jumper on the way for 3, and he fills it. Chad Klein, a 35% shooter from 3-point range. The senior drives it home.
I like the decision by Billy Wright. He didn't have that initial break. Backs it back up and looks it on the perimeter. Excellent job to find the open man.
Jumper by Hill over Klein, and Hill hits another big one for Illinois State. 39-33. The biggest lead of the first half was 10. It was 2 at the half.
I think we're going to have that track meet here in the second half. Both teams are kind of trying to look to score quickly.
Here's Wright. Use it. Klein. Line off the top of the circle. Punches.
Watching Jim Molinari over here, he just kind of grabbed himself. Why didn't you take that shot, Muller? Or Klein.
Right. Now a give, and it's picked off by Smiley, who's on his way to the bucket for an easy 2. Jamar Smiley converts the turnover into 2 points. And again, it's a 4-point contest. Illinois State right back.
Smiley plays the passing lanes very well. He has over 30 steals on the season.
Here's Wright. And Klein. Inside, Parker off the glass and in. Anthony Parker.
Nice job on the low block by Parker. He takes up a lot of space. He's got long arms, was able to create that space.
And another charge, and it's taken by Klein. Klein taking his 4th charge of the day. The foul charge to Rico Hill.
Well, this is how you get bruised knees, bruised elbows, by getting in the way. Chad Klein does a terrific job of holding his own.
41-35.
Having those 3 fouls in the first half kind of took him out of the flow, but the second half he has gotten back on track, and the team seems to be following his lead. He makes a 3-pointer from the perimeter, and then he's going to post up down on the block, showing you his versatility. Does an excellent job of getting inside scoring, and people were touting him as the next Hersey Hawkins here at Bradley, but I don't know if he can pass Hersey. Hersey had over 3,000 points in his career here.
Might be the best sense. Whether he's as prolific in the scoring department as Hawkins might be another matter.
Might be.
All right, Billy Wright handling the basketball for Bradley to Anthony Parker. Jackson. Wright starts in. Parker for 3. It's not going to go. Funches rebounds. Bradley with another set. Wright. Oh, he wanted to find Akinkule underneath, and that hard pass to his hands.
Well, you almost have to recognize that as a teammate. Billy Wright only takes 4 shots a game. He's not going to shoot the ball. His first inclination is going to be, look, take the defense and pitch it inside.
Bradley up to 7 turnovers. Illinois State 12, and 11 of those coming in the first half. Hartnell in the game for Illinois State. We have a whistle away from the block, and Cooley wound up on the floor. He and Kenny Wright battling over there. And Cooley will be assessed with the personal foul. Aaron Zobrist back for Bradley. He will give Billy Wright a breather. Chad Klein off the Bradley bench, and he's right back into the contest, replacing Dwayne Funches.
Some good minutes out there, some intangibles, good solid defense, offensive rebounds. Now we got to see if Chad Klein is able to continue his hot shooting.
Muller off balance over Akinkula for two. 41-37 with 14 minutes to play.
Dan Muller's coming off a terrific season last year as the Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year. Over 10 points and 5 rebounds a game last season.
Zobrist handling the ball. Parker cutting in to the glass. It's not going to go, but he drew the foul. The foul against Smiley.
What a terrific athlete that Anthony Parker is. Very versatile in that he can come around the screen. He can spot up. He can put it on the floor and slash to the basket. Hang in the air. Excellent rebounder, but also he's a good guy when it comes to passing the ball. Over 3 assists a game.
Good foul on the Illinois State point guard. Sends Parker to the line. And he hits it. He's been so hot, particularly during conference play. The last 10 games averaging over 21 points a game. Just over 19 for the year. And he hits the second shot. 43-37.
I'd say Parker has an excellent chance at the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. Very consistent number.
Muller, Cartmel darts. Off to Smiley. Kenny Wright. Rico Hill. Muller flashes through. Back out to Smiley. A move to the baseline, and the jumper's good. Smiley, a lot of arc on that shot.
Yes, he was, but I like the penetration. Get the ball inside. Illinois State found the cutter, Dan Muller, and he pitches it back out, and Smiley's able to go to the glass.
Deion Jackson to Zobrist. Across to Klein. Zobrist flashes through. It's rejected by Cartmel, who got up there, but Parker comes up with it.
Plenty of time.
Jackson had a shot blocked by Hill, but he gets it right back. Off to the corner. Zobrist for three. Count it! Aaron Zobrist lights it up with a three-pointer. 46-39.
Bradley needed that basket so they can keep the momentum they brought out of the locker room.
Cartmel off to Wright, who puts it up, and it will not drop. The rebound to Anthony Parker. 12:30 to play. Klein out front. And Klein takes it inside and lays it up and in. Klein with two. It's 48-39.
Now you know, and the Redbirds know that Chad Klein is an excellent outside shooter, but they don't expect him to put it on the floor and go all the way to the basket.
Rico Hill. Smiley driving off balance, and it will not go, but a foul in the process. I think it's against Zobrist, who wound up on the floor. The 6'1 junior charged with the personal foul.
What a tough competitor Jamar Smiley is. Whenever something happens to an opponent, he wants to come back right away and make something happen. This guy has already been named to the Missouri Valley Conference Most Improved Team for this 1996 season.
Jackson out, Wright back in. Billy Wright for Bradley. Now Cooper reports into the game, and Smiley will get a breather for Illinois State. Muller inbounding to Hill. Cartmel out front, working against Zobrist. Drops it off for Hill along the baseline on the give, and Hill completes the play.
Nice penetration and dish, and if Illinois State's going to stay in this game, they have to get more of that. Bradley's now playing off of energy, overplaying on the defensive end, so you run some back doors, you got a chance for those easy layups.
Bradley by 7. Zobrist. Klein looking for Akinkule low against Wright. Back to Klein. The three-pointer on the way. Will not go this time. Muller rebounding.
That's the inside-outside play that you want. Get it inside. Let 2 or 3 defenders follow the ball and pitch it back out.
Cooper swings to Muller. Inside again. Wright reverses and puts it up and in. Kenny Wright with 2 more.
Does he have great hands around the glass, both ends, offensively, defensively. He's able not only to catch it, but gain his composure underneath the basket.
Illinois State will not go away. It's a 5-point ball game. Billy Wright inside the circle. Out to Klein. Wright again looking for Akinkule. Wright got some help there. Back to Billy Wright. Now to Parker. Parker has it knocked by Cartmel, as he starts to move in, but a whistle and a foul. 10:39 left to play in this one.
How about the inside-outside game? We're going to see Billy Wright penetrate again, take the defense, pitch it back out, try to create an open shot.
Ball. Wright inbounding, floats it out front for Funchess. Now to Billy Wright. Parker flashes through inside the top of the circle for a pair. Two more for Anthony Parker.
What a nice release Anthony has on his jump shot. Able to come around the screen from the baseline side, right in rhythm.
To the baseline, Muller. He would not get it to go down, but he draws the foul. Stopping the clock with 10 minutes and 15 seconds left to play here. The foul charged to Ben Coupette, the 6'11 junior who had just entered the game for Bradley. Now Trotter and Smiley return for Illinois State, replacing Cooper and Cartmell. And Muller will be at the line.
Seeing Dan Muller go to the line, and he's playing some defense against Anthony Parker, and he's having to play that because Steve Hansel is out with a broken foot, and he did an excellent job defending Anthony Parker in the first meeting this season between these teams. Sophomore, 6'4", 189 pounds, played at Lincoln Junior College.
And this one is good. Not only did he do a great job defensively, but he had 7 assists in their first game. So the Redbirds miss Steve Hansel.
Yes, they do.
A 5-point game again. Coupette with the basketball. Funchess off the top of the key. Right, Parker tries to flash, and Trotter grabbed him. Trotter hiding behind Kenny Wright, saying, "Who, me?"
Well, Trotter actually had his left arm. Watch the left arm. Right inside, well, we can't see it right there, but he has his left arm around Anthony Parker. He knew he was going to try to come out of a screen somewhere, but he wanted to make sure he stayed close enough, at least within arm's distance, so he didn't get too far away from him.
Very right. Anthony Parker is looking low for Jackson. Jackson denied the baseline by Muller. Jackson spinning, trying to work his way in the air, and now a pass to right, back out front, Parker. Jackson almost found himself caught in midair. Parker keeps the ball alive after losing his footing. They're down to 4 on the shot clock, and Funchess lets it go, not going to go. And a foul coming here. Trotter grabbing the rebound, and a foul against Parker, who is on his back, and that is 4. It comes with 9:23 left. Now he'll leave the game.
Trying to keep the ball in bounds. Anthony Parker does a good job, and he's able to save it and get it back out. But you're going to see Funchess take the shot from the perimeter, but Parker trying to get back on this play over the back, picking up his 4th foul with 9 minutes still to go in the game.
Zobrist and Klein return to the game for the Bradley Braves. Jamar Smiley down to Trotter, and it will drop this time. Trotter, the 6'4" senior, makes it a 3-point contest, 50-47.
Now in that first half, the momentum changed when Parker got in foul trouble. He had to leave the game with 11 minutes to go in the first half, and that's when Kenny Wright came in and made some big plays and got Illinois State back in the game.
Billy Wright trying to go to the baseline, and it was knocked away off the leg of Kenny Wright, so the ball belongs to Bradley. A kick ball, they'll reset the shot clock. Zobrist out front. Now Klein. Funchess, Wright looking for the basketball. Zobrist flashes, partially blocked there on that 15-footer. Back the other way in a 3-point game. Jamar Smiley pushes to the right side. Muller. Now Smiley and Hill off the top of the circle. Right battling Klein low. They reverse. Now the jumper Smiley. It's not going to go, but Muller is there. And here we are, a 1-point game. 50-49 with 8:15 to play.
Anthony Parker goes out of the game. Things start happening for Illinois State. Dan Muller makes the tip. Somebody was grabbing his shirt as he was tipping the ball in with his left hand.
Billy Wright Out to Klein. Here's a three on the way. Good. Boy, big bucket there by Chad Klein.
That's a huge bucket for Bradley to try to get some momentum back in their corner and keep this thing going. They want the crowd to stay on their feet.
53-49. A full house here in Peoria at the Carver Center. Baseline jumper is not going to go. That ball in play and out of bounds. It's going to belong to Illinois State. Now Kerry Burrell returns to the game for the Braves. We're at the half, and it's a 4-point contest at the moment. Illinois State with a basketball. Jamar Smiley out there. Maurice Trotter in the game. He has 8 points to this point. That's Muller. Bradley's going to a 1-3-1 zone. And a three out of the corner. Not going to go. Billy Wright down with the ball. Ahead to Burrell. Burrell returns to Wright. Again, Parker out of the game with 4 personal fouls. Here's Billy Wright. And returns it right back to Wright. Jackson. They go low. And an offensive foul against Dwayne Funchess. Coming up at midnight, Brigham Young at Fresno State. Brigham Young 14-10. Fresno State 16-8 as they battle it in the WAC conference tonight on ESPN.
Mark is back. Making some noise out there in the WAC.
We'll see him tonight at the bewitching hour, Eastern Time. Hill with Wright working the ball. Muller. Here's Smiley. We have 6:33 to play in the game.
Jamar Smiley has to make some good decisions here.
Hill will not get his shot to go down, but Muller comes back with a pair, and it's a 2-point game, 53-51.
What a great job by Dan Muller to be able to come up with that offensive rebound.
Deion Jackson working for Bradley. Funchess low. Burrell finds Wright. Billy Wright puts it up and in. That's a three. Another three for Billy Wright, and a big one. He doesn't score often, but he has a couple big buckets for Bradley this afternoon.
Well, Billy's going to have to look to shoot because the defense is dropping completely off him, smothering the inside. So if Bradley is going to keep their momentum and try to gain on Illinois State, he has to look to score.
Now Trotter back with three. Trotter averaging 15 points a game, moves into double figures.
Trotter's another player who wants to try to get some points on the board. Only had 6 in that first half, but against Drake, he didn't score in the first half. Had 25 points in the second half of that game.
Here's Wright and Jackson. They're down to a little better than 5 minutes to play. Anthony Parker getting set to report back into the game for Bradley. And this one they could not finish as Jackson could not get the ball to go home for him, but it's out of bounds, belonging to Bradley. That gives Parker a chance to return to the game, replacing Kerry Burrell.
This was a timing play that Billy Wright wanted to make eye contact with Deion Jackson and try to find him on a back screen. And you have to be able to throw the ball up toward the square. And if you have somebody with good hands and great timing, they can make that play.
Chad Klein off the inbound to Parker. Here's a flash. Wright inside. Back to Klein. Funchess starts to take it in. It's knocked away, and Wright is whistled for the foul. This one against Kenny Wright, the 6'5 senior. Each team 13-3 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Bradley playing on its home court. The Bradley Braves, 18-6 overall. They've won 10 of their last 11. They had a disappointing loss in that stretch to Wichita State.
Terrific home team. They're 11-1 at home, and over the last 3.5 seasons, they are 42-3 here at the Carver Center.
Funchess converts the first one. Back into the game, Kerry Burrell. He'll replace Deion Jackson. And Funchess has another one. way. Count it. Funches converts both. Down to 4:45 to play in a 4-point game.
The question has to be, how long does Jim Molinari leave Anthony Parker out of the game? He needs that scoring back in there.
It's a two-pointer, 58-56.
Anthony Parker's on the floor. It's my fault. I didn't see the substitution.
Inside Burrell. Now Klein. Really right. Burrell pops out. Klein. Open for an instant. Burrell darts in. Funches there to take the pass. Back to Burrell. He'll put it up. It'll be a little too hard, and Rico Hill with a big rebound. Smiley. Got a man in the air. Now to right. Off to Muller. Low. Hill. It will not go. Burrell rebounding, and he's fouled by Maurice Trotter. We're down to 3:56 left. A 2-point game. Leon Jackson wants to report back into the game for Bradley.
Now, if you're Jim Molinari, you know that Illinois State is going to crash the board. You're going to tell all 5 of your guys to go to the defensive glass. Come up with this possession. If we have a break, we take it. If not, start to utilize the clock, guys. Get good shots.
The foul on Trotter, number 3. 58-56. And Kerry Burrell will go to the line. Bradley in the bonus. Burrell hits this one. 66% on the year. That number 25 for Burrell in memory of Ben Wilson out of Chicago Simeon. And this one will not go. Hill rebounding. So it's a 3-point game. Smiley into Muller. Here's Wright. Jimmy Wright had a great first half to pull Illinois State back. Trotter, now he'll shoot it. It's a 3, not going to go. And there to pull down the rebound. A big one, the point guard, Billy Wright. Now Parker, and here's a travel. A travel charge to Funches, and the ball goes the other way. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the game, we have a timeout. 59-56. Bradley holding a 3-point lead with 3:30 to play from Peoria, Illinois. On our dollar storyline, Illinois State 12 turnovers, but 11 of those came in the first half. Wright and Muller each with 12. Bradley 7-1 at home in the conference. Overall 11-1. Leon Jackson leading the charge with 14 points. He was a major factor in the first half.
Illinois State doing a much better job. Jamar Smiley not trying to force the action quite as much, making better decisions. Only 1 turnover here in the second half has enabled them to stay within 3 points.
Watkins back in the game replacing Hill. The ball loose inside. We have Watkins and Parker battling for the loose ball. 3 minutes, 9 seconds to play. And on the exchange, Illinois State will hang on to possession of the basketball. Kevin Stallings watching his team battle back all day. They got down big early, and it's been an uphill struggle. But they have not quit. Smiley working against Jackson. And a travel here. He turned it over. Well, they've cut down the turnovers in the second half, but that could be a big one.
That could be. Jamar Smiley, just a sophomore, and he always wants to try to make that extra little bit happen. He's out of West Hempstead, New York, and he's got a little bit of showmanship in his body.
Illinois State averaging close to 18 turnovers a game, 14 in this game today. 3 minutes left to play as Billy Wright dribbles into the front court. He reverses, finds Parker, and Parker throws it into the hands of Jamar Smiley. Smiley quickly down court, over 4, good. Smiley against 4 white shirts, put it up and in.
Much better decision by Smiley because the defense was backpedaling. They were back on their heels. Jamar knew when he could pull up, pulled up really uncontested for that easy shot.
A one-point game. Low for Parker. Parker punches loose back to Parker. Not going to go. Klein in trying to grab it. And we have a jump ball again. And this time it will belong to Bradley. Funches and Watkins came out of there battling for possession of the basketball.
Chad Klein actually came in on the back end of this play. Take a look, trying to get the ball inside for a score. Anthony Parker finds nothing there, but when he takes it up, it is tipped that time by Kenny Wright. But coming in the back end, nice hands by Chad Klein to be able to tie that ball up.
Now Billy Wright along the baseline to inbound. Funches. Klein pops out. Whoa, what a pass, but it's broken up. Picked up by Jackson. Now Klein. And Wright out front. They're down to 7 on the shot clock. Wright from the line with 4 on the clock. Misses the shot. Trotter rebounds. 59-58 Bradley. Illinois State with the ball. 2 minutes, 3 seconds to play. Smiley wants to drop it off, and we have a whistle.
Calling a charge.
And Klein was back in there.
No.
Let's see if it's going to be on Klein or is it going to be against Smiley?
Well, I think
it's going to be against Klein.
Against Klein. Klein does a great job. They're actually calling a block on him on this play. It looked like he might have had good position, but Jamar Smiley using his body to change direction in the air and draw that foul.
Illinois State will have the ball, and Maurice Trotter will inbound. Jim Molinari and Kevin Stallings battling this one on the sidelines. Watkins puts it up and in, and Illinois State takes the lead at 60-59 with 1:55 to play on the bucket by Watkins. And now timeout. Billy Wright into the front court asking for time with 1 minute and 51 seconds left to play in this game. Illinois State has grabbed the lead 60-59. They finally got over the Billy Wright. Into the front court. Off the top of the key.
Jim Molinari wants his team to run that play sharply so that someone's able to come around a down screen for an easy look at the basket.
Parker pops out. They're at 7 on the shot clock. Anthony Parker against Trotter. And an off-balance jumper. Good. What a shot by Parker. 61-60. Bradley with 1:15 to play.
That's what you want your money man to do. That's what your leading scorer is supposed to provide. Big plays, big shots at the right time.
Muller, now Maurice Trotter. Trotter stops at the baseline. Back to Smiley. Smiley takes it in and puts it up. It's going to go. What a shot over Jackson by Jamar Smiley. 62-61 Illinois State.
Man, you got to love Jamar Smiley. Not only does he make some good things happen, he makes bad things happen. He just makes things happen when he's got the ball in his hand.
45 seconds to play, 20 on the shot clock. Parker now punches to the basket, gonna count.
They're calling an offensive foul.
And count the bucket. He's gonna count the bucket to make it 63-62 with 38.1 seconds left on the clock. And we'll go to the other end for a 1-and-1.
That's a huge play. This was an excellent cut by Dwayne Funches to be able to catch the ball. He's moving without the ball, going down the lane, taking it up to the basket, but Dan Muller standing underneath the basket and draws that charge.
So Muller will be going to the line, an 80% free throw shooter for Illinois State. 63-62. Bradley leading. Now Jim Molinari thinks that somebody else should be at the line. And Kevin Stallings is saying, no, we've got the right guy at the line.
It was the right guy.
So it's going to be Muller. He's their leading free throw shooter. And he misses.
Short-armed it.
And to pick it up is Jackson. Now Wright. And a foul here charged to Smiley. Billy Wright with the basketball. 29.5 seconds left to go in this game.
That is a good foul because Billy Wright only shoots 61% from the free throw line. However, you have a senior on senior day. You know he's going to make both these free throws. This is the fourth foul on Jamar Smiley.
So Wright will be at the line. It's a 1-and-1. 62% on the year, and this one is no good. The ball loose inside, and we have a whistle. And a foul. I think it's going to be against Trotter, and it'll send Wright to the line again.
On Kenny Wright.
Charge it to Kenny Wright.
Yeah.
So Wright will be charged with the foul. And Billy Wright will go back to the line with another chance, this time with 27 seconds left.
Well, I know we got to get it in sometime, but we got the right one, baby, at the free throw line this time.
And he puts this one up and in. Another chance, and he makes it a two-point contest, 64-62.
You give a senior enough time, he's going to make that big play for you.
And this one is good. It's a three-point game. Molinari wants to make a change and get Burrell into the game. Illinois State wanting a timeout. 27 seconds to play. Bradley has taken a three-point lead, 65-62. They'll talk it over. Don't go away. Back in a moment. Bradley 1-and-1 in the timeout department. 9 fouls against Illinois State. So the next one moves him into 10 and 2 shots. Illinois State with the possession arrow in its favor.
Second half has pretty much followed the first half in that Bradley led most of the first half, took a 2-point lead into the locker room. The second half, again, they've led pretty much the entire second half, but Illinois State has found a way to bite, claw, and scratch their way back to make this a 3-point game with only 27 seconds to go.
Bradley with 5 seniors on their team. Jim Molinari said this is a culmination of 5 years of work for him in his 5th year, trying to win the the Missouri Valley Conference here. They're 25 seconds away. Smiley puts it up. It will not go. And a foul coming against Bradley. This one will be against Klein, stopping the clock with 18.7 seconds left.
Take a look at the drive. You can almost feel Jamar Smiley wants to make it happen. He puts the ball up too hard on the glass, but he was able to draw that foul.
And Smiley will go to the line. Zobrist into the game, replacing Burrell. Deion Jackson comes back. He's going to replace Funches. And now Kenneth Pearson enters the game for Illinois State. And Trotter will depart. Just under 19 seconds to play in the game. They send Jamar Smiley, a 70% shooter, at the line for 2. And he sinks this one. So it's a 2-point game. The Missouri Valley Conference lead on the line in the closing seconds of this game from the Carver Arena. This one is good, and timeout call. So Illinois State uses a timeout. It's a 1-point game, 65-64. Smiley hitting 2 to give him 16 on the day.
Well, Kevin Stallings has to try to decide, what am I going to do? There's only 18.7 seconds to go. You're down 1. You obviously have to foul, but you go for the steal first. You want to try to get a deflection, come up with that possession. If you don't, there's a couple of players out there on the floor you want to try to foul. I think Parker is one you want to stay away from. Anybody else out there on the floor, you want to try to get to him quickly. Also, Chad Klein is an 83% free throw shooter.
And they have Jackson in, who's a 79% shooter. So Jim Molinari loading up that lineup with some good foul shooters.
The object, though, is to get the steal or get the possession. If you can't, stop the clock. You have to foul someone quickly.
Klein will do the inbounding. Pearson on him at 6'8". Klein looking. Inside. They get it to Parker, and across the timeline to Zobrist. Zobrist out front now to Wright. Across the court to Klein. Illinois State chasing. Back into the corner. Klein.
They can't get him.
Zobrist now to Wright. They're down to a couple seconds, and Wright is charged with the foul. Kenny Wright charged him. Kenny Wright assessed with the foul. Jim Molinari maybe wanting an intentional foul here. But he's going to get a 1-1 out of this with 1.1 seconds left on the clock.
It's amazing. Jim Molinari got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to use the clock. He wanted to get the ball in bounds, get it up court. He was able to use 16 and a half seconds before a foul was committed. Excellent passing, good spacing in the front court by the Bradley Braves.
Well, you got to give Jim Molinari and Bradley a lot of credit for being able to execute exactly what they wanted to do.
Well, you always want to try to put your best free throw shooters out there because you know the fouls are going to come. But if you're able to get the ball in bounds, break that initial press, get the ball up court, space the floor out, he put the right combination out there to get two jobs done and also keep the possession and go to the free throw line.
Well, they used all the clock with the exception of 1.1 second left to go. Bradley looking for its 19th win, but more importantly inside the conference, their 14th win with a game left in conference play.
Dwayne, there's always a gamble a coach can take. You know, Molinari can have his player. He can certainly have Billy Wright go to the line and miss the free throw because there's only 1 second on the clock. But you don't teach players to miss. You teach them to always try to make that basket.
Reminder that BYU and Fresno State is coming up tonight on ESPN. That'll be at midnight in WAC conference play. That game from Fresno. Brigham Young 14-10. Fresno State 16-8, 10-4 in the conference. That's at 9 p.m. Pacific time, midnight Eastern time. Tip-off BYU and Fresno State. In Peoria, just a tad over a second left. And it's the senior guard, 5'10", Billy Wright, back to the line for Bradley. He'll get two shots anyway because they're up to 10 team fouls.
He makes the first. It could turn out to be a different deflection here.
And this one would not drop for him. Another one coming.
Make the free throw. That's the bottom line.
Here it is.
He
It
tried to
will
miss
not
it.
go. He missed it. Illinois State got a quick timeout with 0.3 seconds left on the clock.
Should be more time than that.
And that's what Kevin Stallings wants to discuss with the officials. Ed Hightower over. He's saying there's no way that they could use 0.8 of a second.
Time is correct.
But it's going to be 0.3 seconds left on the clock. In this one-point game, 65-64. Wow.
They only have time for a tip.
Coming up following our game, the NFL's greatest moments. You can see the clock expired with the exception of 0.3 seconds left. It was a two-point game at the half. You knew when it started Bradley 12 and Illinois State 2, that wasn't going to last very long.
Not at all. And these teams have gone back and forth throughout the entire second half, making it a very, very competitive game. Now, I'm Jim Molinari. I'm going to put somebody on the ball. Some coaches, they don't guard the ball out of bounds, but I want to make it as difficult as possible for that passer to try to get the ball in bounds. I may even put the tallest player I have on the floor, even if he has been in the game, just to try to make it a little more difficult.
They said the pressure was on Bradley playing here at home, trying to come up with another win on their way to the conference championship inside the regular season. They said Illinois State in here with really nothing to lose and everything to gain. This game has been pressure-packed right down to the final second.
Both these teams, as we mentioned earlier, still have one game remaining. Illinois State, their next game is at Indiana State. Indiana State's only 9-16 on the season. And Bradley, they have to go to Southern Illinois. And Southern Illinois is 4-12 in the Missouri Valley Conference, and they've lost their last 3 games in a row.
But down there, never an easy assignment.
Never easy going down there.
Burrell on the ball. Muller to do the inbounding. Everybody deep. Here's the pass down court, and it's picked off. This game is over. Bunches stepped in front. The game is over, and Bradley defeats Illinois State 65-64. The NFL's greatest moments coming up next A jubilant crowd here in Peoria for Derek Dickey and our entire ESPN crew. I'm Dwayne Stats.